So today, first I'm going to ask, what do you guys need to mastermind around, if anything, in your business?
Well, in my case, I'm so fresh. I don't even know yet what I don't know. So I'm just soaking up everything that's coming my way.
Okay, that's fair enough. And what I will say, if you haven't already, and you may have, and forgive me if I see everything that comes through, but sometimes I don't always remember everything. Um, have you done the orientation video and all that series? Okay.
Yes.
Are you signed up for boot camp?
Yes. November 5th.
Awesome. And so from there, go ahead and start, and you can start this before boot camp, the other training series, the second one.
How do I access that?
So it should have been at the end of your orientation, a link to it. I can also get you a link. So do me a favor and email me and ask me for that link. And then I will send it to you because watching that is going to help you know what you don't know. It's going to fill in some blanks so that boot camp will make more sense. And as you come to these things, things will start making
Okay.
Go take the dog for a walk. Want to go for a walk?
awesome.
You want to go?
There we go. All right. And thank you to those that, hi, Trincy, that have cameras on. Hi, Mata Cruz. Hopefully you can turn your camera on. And so I'm going to ask one more time since we had a couple people come on before I give you the topic for the day. Does anyone have anything specific that they want to mastermind around? Okay, if not, then I'm going to go ahead and give you the topic. Now, if something comes up, please put it in the chat, or if it's appropriate, a spot to just chime in, that's fine too. Because as we're talking, maybe something will come up and we want to make sure we cover that. I want to talk about pipelines. So it's really important that we are working on building our pipelines. And so, what do you think I mean by pipeline? Let's see if we can put a definition to this. So, when I say build your pipeline, what does that mean to you? Are you talking, Trincy? Because you're muted.
I'm thinking out loud.
Okay. So,
I'm
what is
gonna get I'm gonna get ready to go walking. That's why I have my camera off because I had you in my pocket. But pipeline, I when I hear that, I think of just a consistent flow of leads, at least people you're nurturing, people who are beginning, middle, and close to end phase. And if you keep it, if your pipeline is clogged in a good way, that's good, right? Because you have a consistent flow of people in your pipeline instead of
yes?
dry.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what a pipeline is. And you mentioned the word leads, and we often talk about leads. I was in a group today. I'm part of a mastermind group with some other top coaches, and we were talking about the word leads and how oftentimes we mistake leads and prospects. And prospects is somebody that those are the people that we find online, right? Those are the people that answer the Facebook ads, that click on the whatever it is that we've got going on online. But a lead, there's definition around a lead, right? And there's really three things for you to be able to consider something a true lead, which should be in your pipeline to nurture, right? And so first of all, if it's truly a lead, it should be in opportunities in command. Okay. And if you're unsure of how to do that, there are Marty Miller videos located in the toolkit that you can watch to see how to create those opportunities and how to move them through. And we're going to do a workshop on that soon because building your pipelines is going to be the best way to help you reach your goal, and looking at it a little bit different, looking at your business a little bit differently. Right now we're in the throes of business planning, and some of you were able to come to the business planning clinic. We will be reaching out to those of you that answered our our wrap-up survey for those appointments that we talked about. But opportunities in command, but not just a name thrown into an opportunity, right? It has to have the dollar amount that they're looking for, or that the house they're going to sell is approximately worth. It should have the approximate commission amount. It should be in a specific stage in the opportunities, because there's multiple stages, and it should have the potential close of escrow date. Now, all that being said, the potential close of escrow date could be 6 months from now, a year from now, right? We don't want to go too much past a year as far as where we're looking at where our true opportunities are. However, the exception to that would be if you've had a qualifying conversation with someone and they absolutely want to do business, they're going to buy or sell a house. But whatever their circumstances doesn't allow them to do it for 18 months, 2 years, 3 years. Let's just say their child just started high school, and as soon as they graduate, they are definitely selling their house and moving away. That's a 4-year nurture. That's something that should go in opportunities, even though it's far out, because it's got a definitive timeline. And somebody that's just thinking about it, maybe in a couple years, maybe not. We're still going to nurture those people, but they don't need to go in the opportunities yet. But we really want to stay focused on continuing to nurture all opportunities, but particularly the ones within a rolling 12 months at all times. Okay. Now that's one definition. That's one of the piece of the definition of a true lead. Okay. The second one is that they need to be ready, willing, or able. Remember, an A opportunity, an A lead is somebody who's ready, willing, and able, right? They're all three things because they're ready to go now. A B is somebody who might be two of the three things, and a C is somebody who maybe, right? But they're definitely not two or three of those things. But an opportunity needs to only be at least one of those things, because there may be some things that have to be put in place before they're all three of those things. Okay. So here's the third piece to this, and this is important. You have to have had a conversation with them and have permission to follow up. Okay. So when all three all three of those things apply, then you have a true lead, a true opportunity for business. So having had the conversation actually comes first, right? Because now we know if they're ready, willing, or able. And maybe and able, and then they're a now opportunity, right? And then based on that information, we put them in the opportunities in command in whatever stage is appropriate. Okay, maybe it's a cultivate, that's our nurture stage. Maybe it's they're active because they are all three of those things. Looking at that, and those of you that we coach one-on-one with or will in the future, those are things that we're going to be really focusing on with you and making sure that you're having the proper conversations and follow-ups, because we need to make sure that you have enough in your pipeline to reach your goal. So let me ask, does everybody already have their goal of how many families they want or need to help in 2025? Yeah. And that's okay if you don't. If you do, then we need to make sure that you have enough people in your pipeline to reach that goal. And so we need to make sure that within 6 months, you have enough people in your pipeline to reach that goal. Okay. Now, how many is enough? Well, statistically, for every one sale that you need to have 10 people in your pipeline. So if your goal is to sell 12 properties next year, then you need 120 people in your pipeline. Now, notice that's 120 people in your pipeline, not in command as SOI. These are people that have said they are wanting to do real estate sometime or another, right? Ready, willing, or able. So that's looking at things very differently than we've looked at them before, but that's also looking at things very purposefully. So think about the goal number that you have. Is your pipeline anywhere close to 10 times that? Okay. So what I want each of you to do is think about how many families do you need to help next year? Multiply that by 10 and then divide by either 6 or 24. Because 6 is months and 24 is weeks, right? So then you'll know how many people do you need to add to your pipeline, not just command, but to your pipeline each month and each week. Okay, so when we do meet, Maria, I know you and I do one-on-ones. We're going to talk about this specifically in your next one. Okay, so we're going to break that down. So there's a head start for you on the math. So sometimes we focus too, Tracy?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that formula again?
Yes. Okay,
pipeline.
so the number of families that you need to help next year, so your goal of number of units, right? Times 10. Okay, and then take that number and divide it by 6 or by 24 and by 24, because that gives you how many people you need per month and per week to add to your pipeline. So when we focus on adding to our pipeline, we get more focused on our conversations, right? It helps us get more focused on the type of lead generation that we need to be doing. Because oftentimes, particularly with newer agents, we're too focused on the low-hanging fruit because we want business now. And when it isn't low-hanging fruit and it's 6 months away, we think, oh, that's not good enough. I need something now. And then we forget about the 6-month one when 6 months comes around, and then it becomes someone else's low-hanging fruit, right? So we want to make sure that we're not forgetting about anyone and focusing on our pipeline. So we're really going to start, we want to really focus on helping you all use command to a high level and use the opportunities in command to make sure you're growing your pipelines where they need to be. Okay, and welcome. I see we've had some others come on. If at all possible, please turn on your camera. We don't like cameras off and half paying attention. That's not how we need to show up to things if we really want things to be successful. Okay, so questions, thoughts, comments so far about our conversation? No one? Is this an eye-opening thought as to what's really needed?
I think it is for me. It kind of put things in perspective and a number to actually go after when you actually see it down on paper. You know, to say like I want to be able to have at least 10 families this year is saying that, but when you actually see what it takes to get that, it makes it a little bit more real for me, like something that I know that I got to get to. So yeah, I appreciate this. Thank you.
You're welcome. I love that. And I love that this goes right along with our business planning, right? We know how many, in business planning, we figured out how many appointments we need to get there. But now this drills it down even farther, right? What conversations do we need to have to build the pipeline? Okay, so each one of the things we're actually going to be making a change soon, probably not by next week, but we're going to be making a change soon on your activity tracker. And one of the questions we're going to be asking is, how many did you add to your pipeline? Okay, so not just how many did you add to command. Yes, that's important to know because everything is a numbers game, right? As Gary Keller often says, the path is in the math. And that's so true. But if we don't know our numbers, then we're off the path, right? So this is a number that is really crucially important. And knowing the statistics around that, I think is going to make it easier for you to really know if you're on track with your goal. Not just, oh, I have 500 people in my database, right? And, X number of them should transact. But if we're not purposeful about having the conversations to move them into the pipeline, right? Because you could have 500 people in your database, but if you have none of them in opportunities, what good is it, right? So this is going to help us drill down and focus even more. So what's coming up for you guys when we talk about this? How many of you have enough people in your pipeline to support your goal for 2025? Anyone? So this is what we're going to really help you focus on. Okay.
Now I have it, but not for the state of California.
In your pipeline?
No, probably not. Okay, shut up.
No, that's okay. That's good because here's the thing. We want to make sure that we understand this in its entirety, right? So maybe we have enough people in command, right, for the math. And if we're not focused on if we're just focused on having all the people in command, but we're not focusing on the conversations to move them to the pipeline, that's where the magic's going to come, right? So we need to make sure there's enough people in the pipeline. So when I do November's weekly workshop schedule, I am going to add a week where we talk about pipeline specifically and how to work with them in command. Because if we're not, there's so much that we can do in command to help our business and help us put things on autopilot, not in the sense that we don't have to do the work, but in the sense that we don't have to think super hard about who are we going to call today? What are we going to say? Because if we're tracking properly and keeping the notes in command, then we know what we're going to do that day. We know who we're going to call and we know what we're going to talk about. And so we really want to coach everybody to get to the point where at any given time, I could say, Trincy, pull up command. Let's see your opportunities. Let's have you click on this one. What did you talk about last time, right? So everyone that's in your opportunities, you should know what their motivation is. If they're ready, if they're willing, if they're able. If you don't know that, then they shouldn't be in opportunities or you have work to do with them, right? So we need to get really specific around that. Thoughts, questions, comments?
For me, I just have to I think look through more videos to see how to work the command. There's a lot of information, all the tabs on the left. I don't want to be sending stuff or putting just messing up the system before I can really work on it. But yeah, it looks like a good database to use. I mean,
It's
format.
phenomenal. Yeah, it's a phenomenal platform. And I don't think you can really mess it up. But The videos that are in the video library for the Marty Miller videos, that can be found there. We house them in the video library of the PC Toolkit to make it easy for you. They're also on YouTube. Go through those because we have you do a specific number of them to prep for boot camp. And in your your Path to Real Estate Success training series that comes after your orientation and boot camp prep, which is the one that Jennifer, you did email me for the link, right? Okay. There is a little bit about opportunities in there, and then we have you even create an opportunity so that you understand how to do that. But we'll go through in more detail in a workshop coming up, not just about creating the opportunity, but how to really work with the opportunity and move it through the process from opportunity to closing. Okay, so we'll help you be able to do that, because if you're doing that with everybody, you'll be able to see what your potential income is. You'll be able to see if you're on track for your goals. And we really want to hyper focus this year on helping each and every one of you that is committed to reaching your goals do that. Okay. So if you're committed, then we're committed to you to help you with that. All right. Does anyone else have any thoughts, question, comments around this or anything else?
Hey Jody, can you hear me? It's Michelle.
I can.
And I apologize because I'm in the car right now, but I guess I've always used the opportunities as actual business, not like potential business. And so, yeah, there's a total shift in mindset right there. Um, but at some level, it's almost like you meet someone at an open house and, there's a potential there. And I know you're saying putting them in command. Is the idea more so just to see the numbers if that all plays out to build excitement? Because in my mind, it's kind of like I don't really put them there until like I know we're getting close to something happening.
So, okay, and thank you for sharing that. And I'll touch on all of that. So it's not just for excitement. It is, remember, what we focus on expands, right? So when we're focused on the opportunities, when we open up command and we see that in front of us on a regular basis, we stay focused on what we need to do. We stay focused on the people that we need to help because they're in front of us. When you meet somebody at an open house, maybe they don't go straight into opportunities, but every single person you meet at an open house that's not working with the realtor already, that you got your information for, you need to put in command. And you should not have one visitor from an open house that's not signed with another agent that's not in command. And if you do, any of you, that's homework for this week. Go back through all of your open house sign-in sheets and add every one of them into command. Okay, that's number one. But number two, when you know if somebody is going to do or thinking about doing a real estate transaction in the future and you have definition around what that future is, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, it doesn't matter. That needs to go in command as an opportunity, because too much of the time, the vast majority of agents, by the way, Michelle, that's what they do. They don't use opportunities for the intention it was made. They wait till they get into contract and then they throw it in command. And so then the transaction coordinator can take care of the rest. But when we go in and we see who's in the cultivate stage, which essentially is the nurture stage, we don't forget about the people that need to be called. We remember sometimes the people what if we got busy and forgot to set a task for somebody, right? Too much of the time, we lose business because we don't keep it in front of us properly. Or we get discouraged because it's so far out. Why should I even think about this? But if you really want to make a success of this business and you really want to reach your goals, you've got to have that pipeline built and it's got to be tangible and in front of you all the time. Not just when we take a listing or open an escrow, because that now we're just managing it through, right? So we need to have them in there at all times. Command was built for a reason. Command was built for you to run a business, not just have a CRM and put enough information in to get a check in the end, which unfortunately is how most agents are using Command. And they're missing the amazing opportunities to run a successful, profitable business through it. And we're going to help you guys focus on that this year, because this is something that is missing in most agents' businesses. Big teams use it well. Successful agents that are doing really, really well use it well. That's how they get there. But the vast majority of agents are not using it well. And so we're going to help you guys get more focused this year. Let me ask you, in future masterminds or in future weekly workshops, if you guys have something specific you want to have us talk more about, please let us know. Okay? Because we come up with the things that we talk about, either questions we're getting from you guys, week after week. That's why I don't plan workshops more than a month out, because and I don't want them on a rotating basis. And it doesn't mean we won't repeat something. We absolutely will if it's needed, right? But we want to make sure that we're talking about the things that are relevant to you, that you need and want to talk about, not just to take up an hour talking about something that might not be beneficial to you. So if you're not telling us, we don't know, other than we're trying to figure out from the questions and things that we're being asked. And then, we are going to bring things. As a coach, I'm a part of a mastermind of other top coaches. I go to trainings. I go to all kinds of things for leadership that helps me be able to help you. And we're going to bring those things too. So can any of you in the moment think of something you would like to see in our next workshop schedule or mastermind?
I've got something that is kind of on my mind right now.
Okay.
The person that I'm working with, and I know every situation is different. We're looking at putting the house on the market November 1st, hopefully.
Okay.
And we're kind of dealing with the holiday season. So I would love some advice on that, because we know that's not the best time of year to put it on the market. And they're out of state. And anyway, so just kind of would love some feedback on that.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's not true that it's not the best time to put it on the market. The best time to put any home on the market is when the person needs to put it on the market. And in any time of year, there's always a great reason to do it. So that's first. But secondly, let me ask you a question. They're out of state. So do they live out of state? Are they on vacation? What's the situation around it?
So the situation is they're moving to Oklahoma. They're renting a house out there right now. They just bought property out there to build on. They need to sell their house to get everything moving forward on that end. And their hope was to keep their home here for 1 year until they were 100% sure that's the direction they wanted to go in. Financially, things are being pressured right now, and they either need to rent it or sell it. And so that's been the conversation. I think that we're on the same page, and I'm driving out there today. They're flying in Friday, tomorrow, and the wife and then the husband's flying out on Monday. And we're just trying to they have 2 of the kids in the house and a girlfriend, and none of them's paying rent. And it's not looking real good having them there. So we're trying to get everybody out of there, get the house cleaned up, get all the stuff out of there. And my advice to them was like, let's try and get it on the market by the 1st. So that's kind of what we're aiming for.
Okay. And I think that's a great time of year to get it on the market. There are still a lot of people, and I think we talked about this recently, but there are still a lot of people that need to buy a home before the end of the year for various reasons. People buy homes at this time of year because 1, they want to be in their new home before the holidays. 2, they may need a tax write-off, another one before the end of the year. There's all kinds of reasons that people still buy and sell this time of year. So the fact that holidays are coming up is not a deterrent. As a matter of fact, because a lot of people tend to think that, even if it isn't true, as many homes don't come on the market typically this time of year. So they will have a larger buyer pool by putting their home on the market right now. So it's actually a phenomenal time for them to put it on the market and sell it faster than if they wait.
Okay, no, I see that. I get, yeah, it's interesting perspective because it does seem like less of a buyer pull would work against you. But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. So I definitely see that. I think
Yeah,
I was
actually,
more so,
I'm sorry, they have a higher buyer pool right now because there are still buyers out there, but there's typically less homes coming on the market in the next couple of months.
okay.
So there's
I guess,
actually, so the
I don't
buyers
know. I feel like,
out there make a larger
yeah,
pool for your seller.
but you don't think that's larger in the springtime?
Well, it can be larger in the springtime, but can they wait till springtime?
They hope not to.
So yeah, there's no reason not to put it on the market now. And having it on the market by the 1st of November, even middle of November, if you get any pushback about the short amount of time to the first, that's a good time to put it on the market because there's
Okay, because
plenty of time to get it marketed and in escrow for it to close before the end of the year.
okay. So would you feel the same about that if they end up going into December?
Well, remember the key is they need to put it on the market when they need to put it on the market. It doesn't matter what time of year they put it on the market, right? There's always a good reason for them to do it no matter when. If they didn't get it on the market till December, it could still sell in December because there's going to be less homes on the market, right? And so they could have it in escrow even if it doesn't close till January. Whereas come the middle of January, you're going to start seeing a lot more homes come on the market. And now they have a lot,
Right,
now there's less buyers for more homes.
right, right. No, I get that. Okay,
So,
no, that's helpful. Thank you.
yeah. And so I would really encourage you, first of all, make sure that when they list the home, if selling it quickly is important to them, a couple of things. You're going to want to put it on the market on the lower end of the comps because that's going to get you more eyes on it. That's probably going to get more offers sooner and likely multiple offers versus trying to do the high end where you'll get less. And then the other thing is have it go live like on a Wednesday or a Thursday and plan an open house for that first weekend it's live. And then have no showings until the open house to create some urgency and some excitement. And then in your MLS, agent remarks, put, offers to be reviewed with seller on Monday evening, send all offers to or whatever. So
Right. Yeah. There, and I feel like I'm up against that because they know what their number is and they're like, we have to get this. And I've had the conversation with them about going a little bit lower to draw in more offers. Uh, but they're stuck on that number that they have to be at. And I've asked them, so what's going to happen if it doesn't sell? Well, we may have to pull it off and rent it. And so the money is an issue. Um, yeah. So I guess you just throw it out there and see what happens. But I have said I would go on the lower end and hope to get more activity.
So is the number that they need, is that within the comps?
They're right there. I would say looking at the comps yesterday, driving through there, that there's another house on the market that's 1.2 over what they're asking, or 120 over what they're asking. It's at 1.250, and they want to get 1.1 for it. And their house is better than that house. So that's what I texted him this morning. I said, I'm looking at the comps. I said, I honestly would be putting the house on the market today, like just looking at what's on there because you want that other property to be, people are going to look at that and go, oh wait, there's more value in this, and I'm going to save money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What about the sold comps though?
No, with the sold, they're right in there. They have an extra large lot. It's a 5 bedroom, 3 bath, 3,000 square foot full extra lot. No one cul-de-sac, no one on the left of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great property for sure for the area.
Okay. Well, I would
Yeah,
agree with you. I would encourage them to get it on the market soon while that other property is still active.
yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
So
Okie
well,
dokie.
keep us posted.
I will. Thank you.
What I have heard of buying or selling this time of year is you get actually more serious buyers. Is that true? So more buyers, because only your serious people are going to be purchasing around the holidays. Um, that makes you feel any better, I believe, Michelle. Because I bought during Christmas and I was a very serious buyer, and yeah, you just get more qualified people, not playing games in the spring, just everybody's throwing offers around, just because everyone else is.
Yeah,
That's my 2 cents.
I would say there's something to that.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? Okay. Well, if not, what I'm going to do is give you a few minutes back in your day, but I want you to do something for me. I want you to do the math. Okay. So, based on our business planning clinic, and if you don't know, you we'll work with you on it. But what is your goal next year for how many families you want to help? In other words, how many homes do you want to sell, right? Or need to? And then multiply that by 100 and divide that by 6. And again, divide that, multiply by 100 by 24. And then we're going to have more conversations around pipeline. Okay. We're going to help you get those pipelines built up. And so don't be surprised if we just randomly ask people, ask you, how is your pipeline, right? Because that's what's going to move you forward to your goals. And so we're going to get a lot more detailed about this in the coming weeks to help you make sure that you're thrive in 2025. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jodi.